Tim Ferriss, 2 R's, 2 S's. Tim, I first heard of you in 2006. There was a book called Drug Dealing for Fun and Profit. Then, 2006, you were utterly unknown. Today, you're appallingly ubiquitous.
Appalling's the right.
How did you get from drug dealing for fun and profit to the notoriety that you have today?
Well, I think it partially started with Google AdWords. So the drug dealing for fun and profit later became the 4-Hour Workweek.
Which was published when?
Which was published in April of 2007.
And at that point, you were unknown.
Completely unknown.
Outside your own family.
Outside my own family, at best within my own family. And the drug dealing for fun and profit was sold to Crown Publishing after being turned down 26 times by other publishers. And the 4-Hour Workweek, because Walmart didn't like the drug dealing reference, ended up being the title of the book after testing the headlines and the subtitles using Google AdWords.
And full disclosure, you and I share a literary agent.
We do.
Steve Hanselman.
We do have the same agent. And Steve was instrumental in getting it published. So Steve and I actually signed our agreement while I was in Belize in a rainstorm, and I faxed the agreement to him through a fax machine at a hut in Belize. So that's how I came to have a formal agreement with Steve.
And the book has sold certainly a million, maybe more copies. Very briefly, for probably the half a person out there who has never heard of the book, what's it about, firstly, and secondly, why has it become such a publishing phenomenon?
So the 4-Hour Workweek is a guide to eliminating the minutia, the trivia of life, administrative or otherwise, whether that's in a startup of your own creation or in a career. And so it's a guide to what I call lifestyle design. And it's a collection of case studies looking at everyone from CEOs to single mothers who have done that successfully. And in most cases, that entails reducing workload from, could be 80 hours to 40, could be 40 to 20, could be 20 to 4 hours a week.
So the 4 hours is a metaphor, it's not literal.
It's not literal for everyone. It was a reference to how much time I was spending at the time when I was running a sports nutrition company that I founded in 2001. So by 2005, I was spending between 2 and 4 hours a week on that. But for most people, it reflects reducing work hours without sacrificing income or even increasing income, and looks at case studies. And I think the reason the book succeeded, there are a number of different reasons, but one of the contributing factors is just the timing of the book itself. So I feel that there's always more digital intake, than there is attention. And you can scale in the amount of information that's produced, but the attention has a very finite capacity. So allowing people to manage that and giving them permission to, I think, put up barriers as opposed to take them down is partially what made the book very popular.
You played a very important role in promoting the book and in promoting yourself. How central was the internet in that?
It was absolutely central, the central piece, because the publisher wanted to handle the print side of things, the radio side of things, the TV side of things, and the only piece that they were unfamiliar enough with to give me permission to meddle was the internet side of things, the social media side of things. And before 2007, I had really never read much in terms of blogs at all. Still don't have an RSS reader, but took it upon myself to get to know the social media space, and it hit the New York Times list the first week it came out solely due to social media, entirely due to social media. Everything that came after that, the cover of the style section in the New York Times and so forth, all of that came only when the noise became loud enough online. So everything was online.
So for aspiring writers, the guy who has drug dealing for fun and profit up their sleeve, what do they need to do with social media to make success as a writer?
I would say what makes a good writer, for the most part, in the realm of social media is someone who has a clear voice, someone who translates their personality to the page very clearly, very consistently, and don't force fit your message to a broad audience. So what I would say is read 1,000 True Fans, which was written by Kevin Kelly, co-founding editor of Wired magazine, and focus on the narrowest possible niche that will respond very well to your message. And most often, that will be a group you already belong to. So in my case, it was the 18 to 35-year-old tech-savvy males. And so I targeted the blogs that were appropriate for the message, whether that was Lifehacker, speaking with Robert Scoble, et cetera, and really tailoring it. So I would never say, here's my book, please review my book. I would go to South by Southwest as an example, which is one of the tipping points for the book. And I would identify the 5 to 10 pages in the book that would really be relevant to whomever I was speaking with, if the book were relevant at all. And then I would simply offer to send it to them and highlight the 5 pages that I thought might be fun for them to read. And I never pushed it past that point. And I think that if you tailor the message properly enough, the benefit to their readers will be very clear, and it will organically develop. You don't have to pitch it in a template email and ask for reviews. That would be my suggestion.